Hello, my friends, and welcome to your writing assignment for the next 2 weeks. Today is Monday, and I'll be explaining what you'll be doing for your writing assignment for today. So, as you can see here on this first slide, our objective for these next 2 weeks is going to be I can read and write different styles of poetry. So I'm going to go ahead and click on slide 2. This is the slide that will have your video, but it doesn't right now because I'm recording the video at the moment. If we go down to slide 3, I'm going to start with you in our lesson for today, for Monday. So our first slide says, what is poetry? Poetry is a creative way to express oneself in writing. The rules for poetry are different from prose or written language in its ordinary form. So prose is just regular written language, how we see it every day, and poetry is a more creative way of writing. You see poetry almost every day if you listen to music. So let's take a look at this chart here. What is the structure? For poetry, poems may be unstructured or grouped into stanzas. And for prose, it has sentences and paragraphs. What does it say? It tells a story or expresses feelings or ideas. And in prose, it usually focuses on a story, okay? Does it use many words? Well, in poetry, it often communicates meanings with few words. And in prose, it often includes description and complete sentences. Does it use sound devices such as rhyme and rhythm? In poetry, words at the end of lines may or may not rhyme. Poems also may use other sound devices such as repetition or rhythm. And for prose, sound devices such as rhyme are rarely used. So for example, when we wrote our opinion writing, we were writing in prose, and we didn't really try to rhyme too much, or it wasn't really something that we didn't use too many words in or anything like that. So that was prose, but now we're going to be writing in poetry. So let's go on to slide 4. What does poetry sound like? Some elements of poetry affect the way it sounds. Read each example and listen to its sound. Then read the explanation. Okay, so the first one here, we have an example. The earth starts to quake, and I can feel the ground shake. Quake and shake rhyme or have the same sound. Let's look at this next one here. It says, tall mountains wobble, large buildings topple. You can kind of hear a rhythm there. Tall mountains wobble, large buildings topple. And these slashes and U's kind of indicate the rhyming or the rhythm of those sentences. So in the explanation here, it says, these lines rhyme and have a rhythm or beat. Tap a pencil as you read aloud. What rhythm do you hear? So you can try that by yourself. This next example here, the rocks made a loud noise as they fell. Crash, smash. Ooh, and we know what those are. Onomatopoeias. We love onomatopoeias. With onomatopoeia, words sound like their meaning. So remember all those onomatopoeias we talked about in class. And then the next example is, we can read it here. It says, nearby neighbors are nice to those in need. And that's called alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of beginning sounds in nearby words. So if you noticed, all those beginning sounds had ins and n sound. Let's go on to our last slide for today. What does poetry look like? The way a poem looks can be important to its mood and meaning. Most poems use line breaks. Lines tell you when to pause or stop. Lines may be different lengths. Lines may or may not have end punctuation. And longer poems are often divided into stanzas or groups of lines. Notice how the line that says lines may not have end punctuation actually doesn't have end punctuation. That was a mistake. Some poems are shapes. I'm right here now. Words may twist and turn, or their size and style may vary. The shape often connects to the poem's meaning. So here's a poem that has a shape. This poem circles round and then falls to the ground. This poem could be, if I were writing a poem in this shape, I maybe would be writing a poem about a candy cane. So the next slide says Tuesday. So you are all done for writing for Monday. There's nothing that you need to do in terms of typing in the Google Slides today. That will all happen tomorrow when we start on our acrostic poems. So as long as you listen to this video and you understand what poetry is, you are all done for Monday. And you have access to all these slides that I showed you. So if you need to go back and look at anything, you can totally do that. I'll see you on Tuesday.